See so many familiar names and faces. Hello, everyone. Awesome, just letting everyone in, so bear with me. Hello, some familiar faces. Nice to see you. Hello, everyone. I'll get it going so we can get this masterclass underway. If you don't know me, I am Ellie, and I am so excited to have you join my first masterclass of 2025. While I just get my screen sharing all sorted, I would love to know where you are all from, what you do. So please feel free to be really active in the chat. Let me know what your handle is from Instagram. It'll be awesome to be able to go through that and check up on all of your amazing work. And also, it's a great space to follow each other as we're kind of all on the same journey. So bear with me, I'll get my screen sharing going. Awesome. I think that is coming through okay. So this topic has been something that has come up so often in my DMs and messages, and I'm so glad that you can all join me so we can break it all down together and kind of demystify a few things as well. So I am going to share with you the thing that has moved the needle the most for my sales and growth in the last 8 years of building my art business, and also how it's helped me go from working my 9 to 5 job and doing my art on the side, like a lot of you guys are, and working in any spare moment that I had to being able to quit my corporate job and take my art full time to a point that I am earning more than double than I would be earning if I was in that same corporate job. So it's not about the money. It's not all about the money in the end though. And I also have the flexibility to work the hours I want and for whatever best fits in with my family life. I also, a huge thing for me, I feel like my career progression, it's not dependent on the types of work that my boss hands me, and it's completely all up to me, which was a huge thing for me in my main corporate career. Now, I'm absolutely not here just to say all that to make you feel jealous. I am saying it because I personally didn't think it was possible for myself. And I really want to share with you all how you can take things into your own hands and make it happen for yourself as well. Because it's really, really possible as long as we have everything that we need. Awesome. Okay, so 8 reasons that you might be spending your night learning with me instead of doing something way more fun. You possibly want to quit your day job, but you don't know where to start. You're guessing your way through pricing and quotes. You feel ready to take some calculated risks and put in the work in order to see the full potential of your business. You might feel frustrated that your dream clients aren't coming to you for work, even though you know what you produce is amazing. You want personal one-on-one advice and actionable plans to expand and grow your business. You know who your dream client is, but you don't know how to find them or reach them. Sometimes you might send out proposals, but you're being ghosted. And you're ready to put in the time and take your business to the next level. It's awesome to see the chat going. This is so great. So please give everyone a follow if you can. That'd be awesome. So I'm not sure if any of those things are hitting anyone hard, but this absolutely used to be me. So give me a little wave in the chat if it is you, or if you can relate. Makes me feel a little bit less alone. But trust me, we have all been there. The context of our conversation today is all about how we get out of that place where we feel stuck, frustrated, or like nothing we're trying is working in our creative business. Everything I'll be sharing today is things that I have tested myself and that have worked in gaining me consistent clients and growing. I want you to really feel that all of these baby steps are doable and don't require you to leave the house and spend a whole heap of money. So I'll be breaking these things down into actionable steps so that we can set ourselves up for success. This session is meant to equip you and make you feel ready and confident for consistent reaching out online. And also, so you're ready if you ever get put on the spot in person by a potential client and then need to send them a professional, succinct package of all your services that will actually get you hired. There are also no silly questions. So please, if you do have something come up for you, save it. At the end, there'll be a little bit of time there that you can flick me a little chat message and we can try and answer them. Okay, cool. So let's be real for a second. The reality is that even just the idea of growing your business, whatever size it might be, can feel quite overwhelming. And it's hard to know exactly where to start. You're not alone. And that is the absolute best part about jumping on here together, because the challenges that you're feeling are similar to everyone else in this chat. Some of them might be that you work a 9 to 5 job and you feel that your progression and salary is controlled by someone else, like I mentioned before, something I found really difficult. You're also working really hard on your creative business, but you're not getting the type of clients that you want to work with, which means you're ultimately not earning what you want. And you feel like you have tried so many tips and tricks and are unsure of how to scale your artistic and creative business beyond that 1 to 2 year mark, which sometimes is that hard spot to kind of break through on. These challenges often stem from a place of passion and genuinely loving what you do as an artist. And I fully get that. When I was about 1 to 2 years into side hustling my way through art, these things on the slide here are some of the things that I wanted myself. I was desperate for them. I wanted to start living out my art dreams and make good enough money to quit my main job. I wanted to feel confident in securing steady clients. And of course, at the same time, pricing them correctly so I was being valued and not missing out on work as well. I wanted one-on-one easy processes to know how to grow my business. And a lot of this advice didn't actually exist out there to find for me. I feel as creatives, we are all so unique, which is just amazing. But I think it leaves so much ambiguity out there for how we're meant to tackle our craft as a business. I would have killed to have someone walk me through things and hold my hand through every step of the way in the beginning, which is why I really love sharing things like this with you all tonight. You may also relate to some of these things I was feeling as well, so I hope it makes you feel a little bit less alone in some of these wants and hopes for your art business. Cool. So tonight, the 3 big secrets that I will be sharing and spilling are how to create a step-by-step pitch deck that makes you stand out and get booked. And by the end of tonight, you will have your own one designed ready to you'll have your own one designed ready to construct. And the second secret I'll also be sharing is the exact ingredients of what I put into all of my cold emails to actually get a response, and the ones that have landed me in my biggest jobs. And that goes hand in hand with this pitch deck as well. You'll also walk away with the full template of how to construct your own email, your own pitch deck, something that you can take away and reuse for every pitch you make and re-edit for depending on what type of client you're pitching to. And thirdly, we're going to also make a plan so that every week you can confidently reach out to 5 new possible clients, which means that after a year, you would have landed in front of about 260 new clients. Sounds pretty amazing to me. My hope is that you walk away from this chat with 3 key things that you can immediately implement and start steering yourself to earning more cash and ultimately help you get to a point where you are able to quit that 9 to 5 job and take your art full time, which is our ultimate dream and our ultimate goal here. The techniques and methods I'll be teaching have helped my business get off the ground to the point where I now have to do less pitching than I used to, because the word of mouth becomes so strong and a real superpower once you've done pitching for quite a while. And that's kind of where we want to get to. Cool. I'll start by telling you a little bit of a backstory about myself and my journey if you don't already know. I studied and worked in architecture for about 10 years, and about 7 years into that, I started doing art on the side, gradually doing some for friends and family. I tried entering my work into some exhibitions, And in fact, I put my work into one exhibition where I spent 3 months working on a solid body of work, and I absolutely sold nothing. I was pretty devastated. And at this point, I was charging next to nothing as well. And although I thought my drawings were pretty cool, I didn't actually have any reference or anyone that I could ask to tell me otherwise or help me to get to a different point. Also, at this point, I was trying to make it full time, but I didn't believe fully that it could be anything as opposed to a side gig for me. I didn't think it was a viable career option, and I was actually quite worried about what people would think of me if I quit my really stable job that I had studied so hard for. For the first 3 years, I did commissions here and there, and I spent very little time on the business side of things. It was after this that I entered a few paid competitions and put myself out there with pitching as well. And I started to wonder if this could be more than just my side hustle. I was still undercharging and didn't have a good handle on what type of clients I wanted to work with. And I also felt that I was just trying to guess my way through getting commissions and sales. I decided to go down to 4 days work in my architectural job, which was actually a surprisingly huge pay cut, which, I mean, who knew that? But it worked out that I could still survive, and it gave me some space to work on my marketing and actually seeing if it could really be a business for me. During this year, I gained a bit more clarity on what my brand looked like, and it included things like packaging and logos and colors, and also how I wanted my art to, in general, be experienced by people. My prices went through their first price increase, which was exciting, but I was still underpaid, and probably I think I was maybe earning about $10 an hour after tax. It all then came to a head after COVID, or when kind of COVID hit around that time. Some of you may have heard this part of my story, but there was a Facebook page that popped up in New Zealand called New Zealand Made Products. And it was just a page that was trying to promote people that ran their own businesses and sold locally. It started to gain some traction, so I thought that I would send in some information and photos about what I do. And funnily enough, I woke up to about 3,000 likes in the morning and so many inquiries that it meant I was booked up for the following 18 months. This made me have a conversation with my husband on what it would look like to quit my job, and we decided that we would try it out for 6 months. So I approached my boss at the time and I asked him if I could come back in 6 months if it didn't work out. And here we are, 4 years later, and it's all seemed to go okay. I know that sometimes it is really frustrating to hear about certain people's posts going viral, but this was a real small drop in the ocean of opportunities that I had tried for, and kind of one of the big reasons I'm teaching on the topic I am tonight. I was entering competitions and messaging people all over the place. So, yes, this was a moment of serendipity or a possible God moment for me, but it was absolutely a moment that came out of testing and trying so many various channels as well. Since then, I've invested in my own studio. I have had my commissions sell out in 3 minutes, which is absolutely mind-blowing to me, and worked with some really cool brands like Trade Me, QT Hotels, and Google. And the reason I so badly wanted to share on a masterclass like this, and eventually to go on to create a course for creatives, is because there's so many people out there saying that you can't make a living if you're an artist, and that being a creative means you have to sacrifice on a big paycheck. But I can tell you now that I am living proof it's absolutely possible. And I'm really desperate for you all in this chat and anyone watching the replay, amazing, talented people, to figure out how you can also do it as well. What I'm sharing, it doesn't mean that you will be able to quit your job tomorrow or that the clients will necessarily fly at you straight away. But every single step I walk you through, I have tested myself. And it's gotten me to this point where I get to take an amazing 6 weeks off over summer and take breaks when I want. And I bloody love my job, which is kind of the main thing. Keep in mind, there's a lot of hard work behind there and a lot of overtime. but the flexibility to choose is seriously cool, and it's something that I think we can all get to if we put these things in place. Cool. So that is a bit of my journey. Some of you might be able to relate to some of my feelings. Again, give me some love in the chat if you do, because I'd love to know if I'm not alone. In the first few years of me in business, some of the feelings that I was feeling was I doubted people would even buy my work. Yes, lots of people in there. I was worried any money I spent on my business would just be money down the drain and it wouldn't help me grow. I worried people would judge me for raising my prices and being just not at the right kind of price structure. And I didn't want to become a really cringy salesperson and lose my values just to make some money. Awesome. Some hands in the chat. It's great to see I'm not alone. So before I jump into the real lesson, I thought I'd mention to have great success in business like this, we all know it's really, really hard work. But there is a really simple way to manage that hard work so that you can make sure that that hard work turns into income for you and your family. And it's going to help you lead the life that you want. The way to do it is to make sure that you are not just doing the fun, creative work, which I know is why we're here, but also to do the behind the scenes work as well. You might have to sacrifice a couple of hours of art creation here and there, but if you learn to sacrifice them for the right things, which I'm about to kind of show you, you'll end up in a place where you can just make for the sake of making and the power of making, and you'll get paid what you should as well. This is where my fantastic title comes in for tonight's masterclass, one that I was quite proud of, might I add. Pitch better have my money, and I am sure only the millennials in this chat will probably understand that reference, but that's fine. So let's get stuck into the juicy stuff. If you haven't downloaded the workbook from the email I sent today or the other day, don't worry. I will just pop it in the chat now and you can download it straight from there, which is nice and handy. Don't stress about it being not printed. It's really easy to follow along, but I do encourage you to take notes or sketch out some plans as we go, if you can. Or alternatively, if you have it on an iPad, it's a really easy, great way to edit it that way as well. Awesome. So before we dive into creating your own pitch together, I wanted to chat really briefly through where this fits in all of the huge fog and world of business as an artist. It's just so we have an understanding of its importance and also the other things that need to be in place to support this part of your business. As artists, we not only need our creative, beautiful work, but to actually see success and have possibility to make this a career, we need to treat it like a business. And what this means is making sure that our business has the following things. So we need a good outreach strategy, we need great marketing, clear branding and communication, all of the legal stuff, and of course, our amazing art, creative talent that comes in the end. I felt that I needed to teach on pitching tonight because it's such a strong part of taking our future into our own hands. And when we have these 5 things I've mentioned here, and we have a strong pitch, we're pretty unstoppable as artists. We can't leave our businesses up to chance encounters, or even the hopeful amount that we are seeing on our social media. Did you know that only 2% of your audience actually sees your work on social media, and about 50% through your email marketing? This is not to say that we shouldn't do those things, because I'll be honest, so much of my work has come through social media. It's a really powerful free marketing tool that we can talk about a whole other time. But for now, I wanted to highlight those stats just because if we just sat and hoped that these things would work for us, our businesses would become stagnant and we would have a real lack of control of who works with us. Obviously, you all know where I'm about to go and what I'm about to say, and it's pretty much why I believe so much in having a strong pitch up your sleeve that you can either pull out of your back pocket when you meet a prospective client in person, or you can use it on a more consistent basis and reach out week to week to the people that you dream of working with. We want these pitches to be effective, unique, but also not take us so much time that we never actually sit down and do it. Sometimes it gets to this point and we put it in the too hard basket. We want our pitches to reflect our creativity and our brand. And what I mean by that is it has to go hand in hand with our website. It has to go hand in hand with our colors and our logos and everything that just lives and breathes your artwork. So today we're going to be looking at base layouts and how you might arrange your pitch deck. That's what I'm going to be calling it today. But keep in mind, when you actually go to design it, it must follow the fonts and colors of your business. Another quality of a strong pitch is one that is direct and to the point. The reality is our future clients don't have heaps of time to scroll through thousands of photos and what you've previously worked on. They just want to know how you are going to solve their problems in the best way and proof that you're going to do a good and professional job. So when creating our pitches, we want to keep them short, concise, and straight to the point. Keep in mind though, direct doesn't also have to mean unfriendly. For us artists, a great pitch also has to reflect our creativity and wow factor. So don't hold back on this. Bragging is actually what we want here. Show them your best work. Tell them about that big dog client you just worked for and talk about how many hours of murals you've done. All these things add to the proof that our future clients want to see in order to book us. Pitching and cold calling can sometimes get a bad rap though, which I understand because sometimes it can be awkward. But I am living proof of the saying that if you do not ask, it will always be a no. I held back for so long because I was afraid of what people would think. But once I got a bit of mojo and I got over myself, to be honest, I found that I was prepared. If I was prepared with my pitch, and selling myself, that and the work that I had truly believed in and truly believed could change someone's life, I started actually getting sales and more consistent work, which ultimately later on led to word of mouth, and that becomes an absolute staple in your business. Now, the reason this slide says be direct but flirt on the side is because while I'm teaching you to go after the clients that you want and pitch till your heart's desire, I also want you to think about the long game. Maybe some of those top tier companies or brands that you may think are out of your reach at the moment. So I want you to flirt with them. We had this chat recently on a call with my mentor where she was talking about how if you walk up to someone, say a hot person at a bar, and you start trying to chat them up, they are less likely will want to date you straight away, as opposed to the person who sits across the room, maybe does a few winks, sends them a free drink, flashes a few smiles, and then decides to approach them. Flirting with those larger client types looks like following everything they do, commenting on their posts, engaging with them genuinely in their DMs. That way in the future, if you do feel more primed to cold email them or contact them, they will be aware of who you are and know that you have genuinely been interested in them for a long time without wanting anything in return. Okay, so we're ready with our flirting. Awesome. Okay, so if everyone can get out their workbooks, if you have printed them out or if you have your iPad, that's awesome. Just follow along if you need to and you don't have it printed, that'll be fine as well. It's going to be super easy to sketch things out. So the way we're going to work through this exercise is I'm going to start by quickly flicking through my example pitch deck that I've used in the past, just to give you a full view of what it can look like. And then page by page, you can look at how you might configure your own. Awesome. My pitch deck is 8 pages and it starts with a money shot introduction. and a simple, straight to the point line that tells people what I do right down the bottom of the page. The intention of this page is to almost start the deck off like we would a presentation. So picture someone printing this off and giving it to their boss to get a sign off, or even possibly bringing this document up in a board meeting to get others on board to hire you. We have to imagine where this pitch deck might land and prepare it so that it serves us in a lot of different situations. I'm going to flick through the next 7 pages of it really quickly because we'll see them when we next work through the exercises together. But I just wanted to give you a bigger view of them before we dive in. Cool. So front page, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. This is an optional page, which I'll go through in a second. And then our last one there. Awesome. So if you've got that first page in front of you, what I want you to do is basically work through and tick the layout you think is best for your brand, or one you just simply like visually is fine as well. This may seem like a really simple exercise, but if I know anything about us creatives, it's that sometimes it's better to start off with parameters and a base and go from there. I often personally feel decision paralysis, so hopefully it helps you have a base to work from. And then when you set aside the time in the future to actually make your pitch deck, it'll happen a lot faster and you'll have a feel for what might work compositionally. So sketch this out on the side as I chat through each choice and see what might suit you just as a real base. So start by choosing where your money shot is going to be and how it's going to be positioned on the page. In the diagram, the area it will occupy is indicated kind of by the big X through the middle. A money shot is a term that pretty much means it's one of your best images, one that gives a wow factor or shows off a part of your brand really, really well. We don't want this front page to be too busy because it's an introduction to us. So keep that in mind when you're choosing this image. On this page, I like to have 2 versions of my logo. My main symbolic logo, which for some of you might be a symbol or an icon that you use sometimes to represent your business, but it might not have your name or text supporting it. Then we actually want to make sure they do know our name by either having the name version of our logo, which a lot of you will have, or just simply your name in text at the bottom. We also want to make sure they know exactly what we do. And what I want you to do here is try to be really boring. Don't be creative here. Think really understandable for any plain Jane out on the road. For example, muralist, you could write watercolor artist or photographer, something really clear. The second page is a super easy one. It's pretty much meant to be a wow image that makes people want to look through your pitch deck further and keep diving deeper into what you do. This image is often best when it shows details of your work that are wow qualities. So this could be close-ups of detail, it could be large-scale works, or even products en masse, possibly. Maybe you have a really unique product or a fun project that you've worked on that wasn't even for a client, but it makes you really stand out. That's what I would put on this page. These are 2 configurations as an example that I've suggested. And again, it's just to keep it really simple. We don't want to overload our pitches because they start to become confusing and almost just a portfolio. And clients don't have the time or even the interest, to be honest, to be wading through millions of photos of all of your work. Cool. So this is our about page. You could come up with a snappier headline if you like something like, "Hi, it's me," or simply "Hello," or something that fits maybe a little bit better with your business and the way your brand voice wants to be heard. And again, let's start off with the image here. This gives us a really good base to work off of for the rest of the pitch. When choosing this image, it's great if you have one of you working or even a headshot type image. Um, but we do love an intro image with a bit of personality. So try and show that here by making sure you're looking into the camera, whether your vibe is smiling or laughing or could be looking sassy, and that's awesome. We just want the clients to understand a bit more about you here and a bit more about what kind of energy you're bringing. Feel free to choose your arrangement of your text here as well, while I just go through some important points to cover in this bit of text. Now, this next bit that I'm about to talk about is something that really blew my mind that I learnt in the past couple of weeks. I've been listening to an amazing entrepreneur and teacher called Daniel Priestley. Some of you may have heard of him and his teaching, but I wanted to touch on something that he talks about that all entrepreneurs and business owners need to learn for both our about pages and for when we're introducing ourselves in any setting. So Daniel talks about this thing called name, fame, same, aim, and game. I'll go through that a few times, so don't worry if you've missed some of them. What he means by these is when we are introducing ourselves to anyone, whether that's a pitch or a podcast or a newspaper interview or anything like that, we start with our name. Very simple. So for me, hi, I'm Ellie. I run an art studio called Maker of Chaos. Then we talk about same. So the things that are the same as our business, so that it's really easily understood by people. So again, think really boring and direct. Don't try and be creative here. So example, mine would be I create murals, custom art, and marketing campaigns for businesses. The next is fame. So what I want you to do here is talk about something you can brag about. It could be a big client or an award, even stats that you might have around your work. So for me, my next part would read, I have worked with global brands like Google, Trade Me, and QT Hotels, and worked with over 600 clients on custom artworks. The next part is aim. So what is your short-term mission and the things you're aiming for at the moment? So for me, that would be I am expanding to teaching artists around the world how to do business well in order to quit their 9 to 5 jobs. And also at the same time, locking in large-scale mural projects for companies who want their story and message told through bold mural art. And the final part that Daniel Priestley talks about is game. And this is about our long-term vision. What is the ultimate goal of what you do and why does it matter? So for example, my big vision is to inspire and connect people to companies and communities' histories through their power of art, while also showing other artists how to be successful in business and have long-standing careers. So if you work through your name, same, fame, aim, and game for this section, and also really practice it so you have it on hand. This is honestly going to be a game changer for your confidence. And when you get approached by anyone, you'll have exactly the right things to say that's going to make you stand out from anyone else. If you also have the ability on this page to pop a link directly to your website below, I would also try and add that. Everyone has a different way of engaging with our work, so sometimes offering a different way that people can consume your pitch is a really, really great idea. Or even you could have a link to a video you've made that really shows off your best work. Our services page is the next one, and this one has the potential to be quite overcrowded. And we just absolutely don't want that. So again, choose the configuration of how you might arrange your images, and this will help with your base. I like to mix it up a little bit and sometimes have it in more of a grid-like fashion, which has a diverse range of images displaying different things that I service, alongside some text that's on the side there. But I do often really slim it down as well and have only 1 to 3 services on a page with those specific images if I'm targeting certain clients. So just be mindful of that when you're sending your pitch out. Sometimes it's better to have less because the person knows exactly what you're talking about. With the text portion, I do recommend, just having the 1 to 3 services and just changing those out to have in your back pocket for anyone you meet. Cool. Next page is all about breaking up the pitch deck a little bit. I like to break mine up with images so that my clients don't feel too bogged down with all of the info. And I kind of like to leave it so that some of the images and my money shots do a lot of the persuading on their own. I recommend just having one image here on this page, maybe trying to choose a mock-up or an image of multiple pieces of your work. You'll know what suits best for you and your brand. This next page, I have just popped it as an optional page. If you've worked with any clients who you would brag about, I would pop them here. Or alternatively, if you haven't yet worked with any clients that you feel that are big names, which is totally fine, you can put some statistics. So sometimes you can have a bit of fun with this and put things like 1,000 hours of professional painting, or 200 liters of paint, 100 clients across 3 cities, making it kind of a little bit fun that way. And it also shows a bit of career proof for the clients you're pitching to. Page 7 is again about showing proof to our potential clients so they feel that they can already trust us and want to work with us. If you don't have any current testimonials, send a quick email or a direct message to someone that you have worked with and just ask if they wouldn't mind writing 2 sentences on something specific that they loved about working with you. People actually love to spread happy words of encouragement, so don't feel shy or awkward about asking for these. It'll really help boost your sales so much. I often just think about how much stuff we buy from influencer marketing, and it's just simply because they loved the product and wanted to tell people about it. So let these testimonials be your influence to your potential clients. This final page here is just to give them a call to action, really, and of course all of your contact details so they can actually get in contact with you. And again, we want to leave them with a killer money shot so that they can use this as like a leaving kind of image in their brain. I would arrange it just as one of the alternate ways that I've listed there, keeping it really simple, and make sure that you have your name or your logo version of your name somewhere on the page, and put your contact details along with any socials or website addresses as well. Oh, cool. How are we feeling after that? If you've followed along, it's pretty amazing that in the space of about 10 minutes, you've been able to personally come up with a draft of how you're going to arrange your first pitch. And as I've said, the aim of having this ready to go is actually just to have something in our back pocket that we can pull out if we ever meet a prospective client that wants to know more. Or alternatively also, so you can do all the reaching out on a more consistent basis without putting it in that too hard basket. It won't feel too hard because you already have a pitch deck ready to go, and we're about to go through the email that you can attach it to as well. I personally was able to land a client purely because I met them in person at a random networking event, and I said I would send them something the next morning. And because I had my pitch deck ready to go, I was able to send a fully professional document alongside my website to them that had all of the information that they needed. And one of the main reasons that they said they wanted to hire me was because of how quickly I was able to send them a presentation to a standard like that looked like it had taken me many, many days to create. So it's worth it to be prepared if you can. Awesome. Now, the next way that we are going to increase our client list and our sales as artists is by knowing exactly what to put in our emails when we're cold emailing people. Often, because we work alone a lot of the time, we have no idea what other people do to pitch themselves. So I personally find it really helpful seeing transparently what other artists say and how they say it to land jobs. So hopefully this is really helpful for you and can give you a bit of a roadmap or at least somewhere to start on your own. When we're contacting clients we want to work with, we often go the email route, but I do want you to keep in mind how brands or certain businesses possibly best work. Some may be more active on LinkedIn, so that could be a better place to contact them. Some might be more active in their direct messaging on Instagram. So yeah, just toss up what you think that brand's best contact is. I personally like to stick to email most of the time, as I find it's the most professional, but sometimes LinkedIn, if you're amazing on that, which I am not, can be a really great way because it's quite direct. And also if you're focusing more on corporate clients, it's an amazing place to be. Cool. So our emails are going to be, again, really direct. They're going to be warm and they're going to be unique. This is not an email that you will send out en masse to a bunch of contacts. This is a base that you will edit a small portion of it so that each client can see how you will work with them directly. The points that we need to touch on in our email is first, obviously acknowledging that you would like to be put in contact with the right person. Now, this is if you don't have a direct contact, which I'm going to talk about in a little second, how we're going to get some of those direct contacts. Second, we use our name, same, fame, aim, and game to introduce ourselves, which is awesome. We can use this all the way throughout. Third, this is where we show the company or brand what we know and love about them, and also how your work specifically could apply or collaborate with them. Think really specific, and I recommend spending about 15 to 30 minutes, which I know sounds like quite a long time for one email, but it's worth it. Spend 15 to 30 minutes really thinking creatively on what you could do for them. It's almost like coming up with your own project brief and proposing how it might work for this particular company. We want them to essentially walk away from this email being able to envisage exactly how your work and style would practically fit with their business without them having to put any thought into it. We shouldn't leave it up to our prospective clients to imagine how great our art could look on their products. They honestly do not have the time for that, so we need to help them to get there. Then, at the end, feel free to touch briefly on what that process practically could look like and ask them if they have some capacity for any new projects or work in the future. Cool. So remember, generic just doesn't cut it. With such an saturated market out there, if we're sending out our mass emails, we are just going to slip into that fog of a deep inbox that might get 100 pitches each week. People see honesty and they recognize when you have genuinely taken the time to think about how your style will apply to their business. So don't skip that step and make sure your passion comes through in all of your wording if you can. When you're brainstorming your unique position, think about also how different you are as a person. For example, I want you to think about your authenticity, something that makes you really, really unique as a person, not necessarily as an artist. So, for example, you may be a watercolor artist and you may have just gone to Fashion Week because you love the fashion industry. I would use those unique traits to help me stand out and to show companies that I know and love their brand. So my fake brief might look something like presenting my watercolor art as a print on the silk lining of a handbag and possibly pitching it as a celebration bag for next year's Fashion Week or something like that. I'm not a watercolor artist and it probably might not work, but that's just an example for you. But just get creative and have fun with it. It can be a really awesome exercise and you will get faster as well the more pitches you do. Now that we have the main ingredients sorted, I wanted to give you a realistic plan so that we can implement pitching into our weeks. Because when I say that pitching allowed me to quit my job, I'm not just saying that, I'm not kidding. Over the years, my income, it's increased based on the amount of business processes and pitching that I applied to my weekly practice. And it's been pretty astonishing and life-changing for me personally. This plan will allow you to take some control, and you honestly never know the timing of when your email might land on someone's desk. So this time blocking page in your workbook is here to narrow each task down to bite-sized chunks so you can actually see how long each step should take you, and also so it doesn't feel like you have to get it all done at once. So step one is the making of the pitch deck, which we all know how to do now. And I've allocated about 1 to 2 hours here. I don't think it should take you any longer than that, and feel free to use whatever your preferred software is, whether that's Photoshop, Illustrator, or even Canva. Can honestly be really easy because it helps you have that ability to very quickly change things. So whatever your game is, that's great. Awesome. Step two is picking your type. Now, if you go to the following page really quickly as a little glossary, you'll see a list of 40 types or industries to choose from. So to make this process really simple, just choose one at a time. So one a week, if that's your aim to pitch to people per week. So for argument's sake, tonight, I will choose law firms. So step three should take you no longer than an hour. Now, this is called the scroll. I would scroll Facebook or maybe my LinkedIn for an hour. I would find 2 to 5 people who work in my type. So in this case, it's law firms that I've just mentioned. Flick them a quick message, and I would say, I've got some amazing ideas for your firm, and as your friend or connection, if it's LinkedIn, would they be happy to pass on a direct email contact, or even introduce you to the right person, whether that's marketing director or HR or someone in the right department. This step is really crucial because when we cold email someone directly, rather than their about page or their general page from their website, we have a much higher chance of success. We also have the ability to say, hey, Stacy recommended me. And this immediately gives me trust and proof with this company that I might be a great person to work with. It's also just an amazing database if you think of how many friends you have and where they work. Try and use that if you can. So once you've sent your 2 to 5 messages to your friends in these law firms and gotten those contacts, it's time to think up a creative concept for each. So again, as mentioned, I'd spend about 15 to 30 minutes really thinking hard what you could do here, and try and just be playful and unique if you can. Step 5, I'd spend 15 minutes writing the email. You've got the base there already, so it shouldn't be hard. Attach your pitch deck to that email. And step 6 is following up. People have really busy lives, really busy inboxes, so don't be afraid to do this. If people don't want to work with you, don't worry, they just won't reply. So that's totally fine as well. So if this was me, I would look at how much time I had on my hands and physically put a timer on for each of these tasks. It helps me make faster decisions, and let's be honest, as creatives, we could go forever, so it helps us get stuff done. Try and set aside the first step, making of the pitch. Try and set that aside for 1 week. Just make that one task you need to do that week. Then the next week, I would focus each day on one of the other steps each day. Time blocking each one of those steps. So by the end of that week, you will have only spent a really small portion of your time each day on each task. And hopefully by the end of the week, you've sent out 5 cold pitches. The last page in the workbooks is a table that goes hand in hand with that time blocking. So what I want you to do is, when you set aside your hour to scroll through your friends list on Facebook or LinkedIn, pop that contact here. Either feel free to use this sheet if you like, or make your own Google spreadsheet, whatever works best for you, in the same format. And just try and keep track of them all. Make sure you note down when you send the email, tick that box, and if you get a reply, if it looks promising as well, pop that down. Or maybe it's just a not now, but maybe in future. I would write that down as well so that you know in 6 months to follow that up as well. If you do manage to do 5 pitches a week for a year, that's 260 new potential clients that you would have reached out to that otherwise would just have not had any idea that you existed. So that sounds pretty doable to me. I do want to be super honest, obviously, about pitching though. I think the reason that so many of us just don't do this, and even why it took me so long to start doing this in my career, it's not just the time element of sitting down and doing it, but it was also this huge fear of rejection and getting all these no's. But when we don't put ourselves out there, we don't get rejected, which technically sounds great, but it also doesn't put us in a position to get any yeses either. Not too long ago, I was wanting to find an agency to work under to hopefully expand more internationally and work with some bigger brands. And to do this, I had to work up a similar style pitch. I had to kind of get together a detailed portfolio of my work alongside a pitch deck, and it took me forever to create. Lots of work, so I was really, really proud, and I sent it out to 20 different agencies. Do you know how many I got? How many responses I got? I got one. I got one response out of 20. But that one turned out to be a yes. So I guess what I'm saying here is there will be a lot of no's. So prepare yourself for that, but try and treat it, I like to think, a little bit like the dating scene. Sometimes you have to play the numbers game a little bit, where you say yes to any and all of the dates with little or no expectation, in the hope, obviously, that one surprises you and possibly ends up sticking around. And I'm holding out for us all to find many, many long-term relationship clients. So here's hoping. All this to say though, be persistent, set aside the time each week, make it a task that becomes a must-do task. And I can tell you now, it will surprise you what your business could look like in 6 months. Cool. So here's a little review of some of the things we've learned, just to go over it there. The 5 things that we need in our art business to be successful long term, to make good money, and to also hopefully quit our 9 to 5 jobs. We need outreach, we need an awesome marketing strategy, clear branding, communication, all of the legal stuff to make sure we're safe, and of course the creative work and talent, which you'll have already. When we have these 5 things and we have a strong pitch, I think you'll be surprised at how much growth will happen in your business. To have that strong pitch, the things we've mentioned tonight, we need it to be direct and informative content, beautiful professional presentation, which is an easy one for us all. We need it to be creative and unique, filled with ideas, and we need to have that direct contact point for our outreach as well. With all that in mind, how are we feeling? It's a lot of information. Hopefully it's easily digestible. I'm hoping that you've been able to follow through okay, and it's making it feel super doable for you to possibly fit into whatever your schedule looks like. I know we have really busy lives and are juggling a lot. So what I'm about to say next, I promise you, is meant with love and not meant to make you feel bad, but sometimes you need someone to give you the hard word. So today it's gonna be me. After hearing about pitching yourself, do you think that's not so bad? I could possibly do that. You possibly feeling stuck, like you want to push your art business into earning more and booking more clients, but have been doubting your abilities or even what to do next. But are we sitting there now and going, knowing in our soul that we might walk away from this masterclass and maybe only implement one thing or not even set aside the time to do it? I am here to tell you that if you invest in yourself and your business, you will be able to succeed at it. I am proof of it, and honestly, you have the exact same shot that I do at making it in this art business world. And even though I know there's a lot of information out there to absorb, I'm hoping that tonight can really help you get going. I really wanted to bring everything that I have learned over my career together into one place so that you don't have to stumble through it or waste time finding those resources yourself, like I know a lot of us feel. So, some of you may know, but last year I did launch a course that goes a lot deeper into all of these things that we've touched on tonight. And this course is for you if you are at least 1 to 2 years into your creative business, you're frustrated at not seeing any real progress or acceleration in your earnings and your clients. And this may be you as well if you're so desperate to quit your main job and do art full time. But you might not have felt that confidence or the steady clients and customers to allow you to do it. I am here to hold your hand for 6 weeks. I love doing this. I love talking about this because I just am so passionate about talented, creative people reaching their potential. And I think that what is important is that we look at what's unique in your business and dive into how that works in a structure to make sure we have all of the processes in place to have a really long business life. So before I show you everything that's in this incredible course, I have to be upfront because it's not for everyone. I want you to think about if the following slide speaks to you a little bit, and if it does, this course is made for people like you. This is for you if you are ready to go full time, you've been dreaming about quitting your job, but you practically don't know where to start. You're frustrated that your dream clients aren't coming to you. You're tired of guessing your way through pricing, which is a huge one for me, pitching and finding clients. It shouldn't honestly feel like a guessing game, so I'd love to help you with that. You work weekends and nights, but you don't want to. And ultimately, you probably want that time back for your family and the activities that you love. You want personal one-on-one advice and actionable plans to expand and grow your business. And you probably feel ready to commit to taking some calculated risks in order to see the full potential of your creative business. So if you haven't known, this course is called Passion to Profession, and it's a 6-week high-touch mentorship course where I walk alongside you and get to know what makes you and your business unique. I teach you everything that I have learned over my last 8 or 9 years of business to get you moving confidently to a point where you will be able to take your art full time. I'm so excited about this course, and it's going to be our term 2 this year. And before I explain exactly what you'll get as a part of this mentorship course, I thought I would just sneakily say that if anyone does sign up while this masterclass is on tonight, I will be personally giving you a free one-on-one hour-long personal mentoring chat as a follow-up at the end of the course. It just means that we can tie up all of the loose ends and make sure everything you've learned over the 6 weeks is fully tailored to you. And I'll also chuck a sneaky 20% off in there too, because I'm really just wanting to honor everyone that came on tonight to learn. Perfect. So if you do want to sign up, I'll pop that in the chat now, and you can go directly and just check out what this course is about and mull over it a little bit. So here's what you get if you do enroll. The second term starts next week, which is 17th of February. We start the term off with an hour-long one-on-one session, just me and you, where we chat everything that is going on for you and your business. We look at all of your goals, all of our goals for your business, and how we are going to focus the year and make shifts in your business plans that will actually get you closer to quitting that 9 to 5 jobs of yours. I give on-the-spot advice in our one-on-one sessions, but we also look at really actionable items that you can implement throughout those 6 weeks as well. A new module is released weekly with a live video call each week as well, where all of us students, well, I'm not a student, but all of us hop on a call, and it's over Zoom, and we pick through all of the juicy questions that have come up through that week and the things that we've discovered about that module, or any projects that you're working on as well. This term, I have actually also designed half-hour mini workshops for the start of each live call so that we walk away with real practical plans and live lessons on things like social media strategy, website audits, and even AI challenges to improve our business. There's 55 video lessons through the whole course, which is mammoth, but they are short, so they're about 3 to 10 minutes each video, just to make it really easy to take in, absorb, and then kind of go back through if you need to. And I hand you all of my templates that I use in my business, contracts, and the big juicy one, a huge pricing Bible that will paint a full picture of how you should price any project you come across, no matter how complicated it is. As a bonus, you also have a 24-hour hotline to me. So last time it was amazing. My students most days would send me voice messages and emails with templates to review and all of the how on earth do I price this project kind of questions. We were talking every day, and that is the kind of relationship that I want to have with people on this course. So Passion for Profession will have limited spaces, and it's kind of what I've been talking about, how I want to keep the group really small so that we can really get down to the bones of what makes your business tick and how we can accelerate it to full time. Everyone's businesses are so unique, so we really need that special close time, and that wouldn't be possible if I had a huge group of 30 people. So we like to keep it small. So it's important to me that you really get that personal business support you need. Awesome. As I mentioned, each week we uncover a new module. Pitching, the stuff I've talked about tonight, is only a small part of that week one Dream Client Hustle module. So there's so much more to learn about chasing our dream clients. Altogether, as I mentioned before, there's 55 video lessons that'll coach you through every element of what's going to help you eventually quit that job. The modules that we are going to unravel together are called Dream Client Hustle, where we unlock more secrets to pitching. We look at cold calling and selling on social media while actually staying true to your values and knowing when to pivot and when to change. And by the end of the week, you have a practical plan to get your next 100 clients. And I personally hand you every single customizable template that I personally use in my business as well. Week 2 is called Marketing Mojo, where we accelerate your marketing game across various social platforms without it feeling like a chore, because I know for us creatives, it often does feel like a chore. And we have practical steps to increase your brand visibility without spending a whole heap of money. Of course, you already have some of my pitching templates, but you will have access to all of my templates that I use for quoting to clients to give you your best shot in landing your dream clients. And we'll also be looking at when to be professional, when to be approachable, and a lot around packaging. Week 3 is Sell Your Story, and here we learn a lot how to harness storytelling to present your business and products successfully. This week we create and perfect your elevator pitch. We make sure your packaging tells a story and encompasses an experience of your artwork, which ultimately ups the value of your work as well. We work on your branding, making sure it's consistent, and making it unforgettable experience of your business that connects with your clients and your audience as well. And it ultimately means that you can charge more because in the industry you'll be seen as higher value and more of an expert. Week 4 is called Cash and Contracts, where we work through the complexities of contracts. It's not the fun stuff, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand you every single contract that I have, all been checked by a lawyer as well, so they're fully legit. We learn tips and tricks to ensure that tax time's really stress-free, and I teach you about how I do my bookkeeping through the year on a budget. You walk away fully equipped with all the tools you need, but also making sure that you're safeguarding yourself for the future. Especially as artists, there's a lot of copyright problems out there at the moment, so we go through a lot of that as well. Week 5 is called Price Like a Boss, and this week is a huge week and one that my students last year found the most valuable. You learn how to master the art of pricing your creative work with real confidence. You've got insights into setting initial prices with practical templates, pricing examples, and also obviously those quoting templates I talked about before. We look at how to incrementally raise your prices and how to create a hype and demand for your work. This module covers cost management, invoicing structures, negotiating boundaries with friends and family, which can sometimes be really, really tricky. And it's just such a juicy week. I know it's one of the biggest pain points for a lot of people in the creative industry. So you walk away with real hard figures of how you should price, how you can scale, and we also talk through specifics of certain jobs in the commercial and selling landscape so that you know exactly how you should quote on any inquiry you get. The final week is called Bonus Secrets, and it's where I uncover when to focus on growth in your business versus when we need to just stay grounded and work really hard. You'll define your ideal 10 out of 10 day and follow my practical weekly plan to achieve that sustainable growth. And you'll also be able to learn from all of my personal mistakes, which I spill all the beans. And we explore tools to make sure all of your creative process is just streamlined. This week, we also workshop how you can practically work towards quitting your day job, down to dollar figures, day plans, and making sure that everything's set up for you. And we look at specifically what to prioritize in your business as well, just to make sure you're best set up for whatever success that you want to have. So as I mentioned before, there's going to be a live element to this course, which essentially means you get direct business coaching with me. 24/7 hotline to message me anytime and ask questions, work through projects and anything that you're struggling with at that time. The course does start with a one-on-one Zoom call with me where we basically just sort your stuff out. We organize what your goals are, everything that's specific to you, and then each week as a module is released online, you'll get the chance to sit down with me and all the other students in a live Zoom workshop each week for the 6 weeks. And here, a lot of people ask all their questions from the week, they get feedback, and they're all recorded as well. So if you can't make one, you can ask your questions ahead of time and it still gets recorded. It's all completely online. Each module will be able to be completed in your own time, and you'll also have 365 days of access. So you can have this for a whole year and access it whenever you want. I really don't want this course to feel like a burden for you, like a time burden. So that is why I sort of broke each video up into 3 to 10 minute kind of style videos. So it's just really easy to take on and fit into whatever lifestyle that you have at the moment. Just as I finish up, we're almost done for the night. These are just some of the amazing outcomes for my students last year. I just had to share them because they truly put in the work and they saw their businesses grow. Within the group, we had people have sellout commissions, awards won, 6-figure jobs quoted with real confidence, new products launched, and the fog completely lifted in spaces where business actually felt quite directionless. I'm not the type of person that you might see all over the internet that's going to promise you're going to earn $1 million if you do my course. It's just not how I roll. But I can guarantee you that if you do implement everything that I provide you in this course and you set up a really strong business foundation with a focus of how you're going to aim for the future as a creative, you will see success and a long career as an artist. Everything I'm teaching, I have tried and tested many times for myself. I will also say you don't have to be an artist to do this course. I have helped mentor illustrators, artists, graphic designers, and photographers in the past as well. And all of these methods I teach are applicable across the board. So there are three options here to invest and enroll in the course. And yes, I just tried to make an affordable option if people needed it, which works out to be about $87 a week. Or you can opt for the one-off payment, which works out to be $300 cheaper in the long run. I've recently signed up to a business mentoring course myself, and I can't stress to you how much having a business coach in my life has changed my business. Having someone who's been there, done that was so invaluable, and it just took all the guessing and time wasting out of it for me. But at the same breath, I do really understand that nervousness to invest and that risk that it feels before you've done it. But my hope is for you that I can be this for you, and over the 6 weeks, we can absolutely nail how to grow your business. But with all that being said, because I am so appreciative of you being here tonight, and I love that you've joined me in trying to learn more, I would just love to offer a discount, a whole 20%, which is about $360 off. And I'm just going to make this available for anyone that's been on the masterclass or watching the replay. Have a think about it. It's going to be, I'll pop the link in the chat as well if you need it to kind of access it. But I'll make sure that's available for 5 days for anyone that wants it, just because you guys feel like the OGs now. Awesome. I also want to honor your time tonight a little bit more. So for those that do decide to take action before the end of this class, which is probably only 5 or 10 minutes, but if you do that, I would love to offer another bonus one-on-one with me at the end of the course, and make sure that we have all of the one-on-one time that you need to make your business amazing and long-standing career. Woo, we reached the end. Well done, everyone. It's Q&A time now. I didn't have any Q&As, sorry, any questions sent through via email, but if you did have any come up, I'll just have a look at the chat, but feel free to pop them in the chat and I'll stay online for a couple of minutes. If you do have to go, thank you so much for joining me tonight. It's honestly been so great having so many of you here, and I really hope your pitches turn out amazing and you just managed to secure some absolutely dream killer clients, because it's really possible. So harness that confidence from tonight, go out and do it, and in no time you will be hopefully sitting where I'm sitting and teaching a bunch of other people how to do it. But yeah, pop in the chat if you have any questions. I'll stick around for a few minutes, and thank you guys. Oh, thanks for all the love in the chat. It's been great. Thanks guys, that's awesome. If you do need to check out any more about the course, please feel free to DM me or message me on Instagram. I love sending voice messages and videos and chatting any of your issues. Even if you don't take the course and you just have a general question, please just message me. It's a little bit lonely out there sometimes as artists, so I recognize that. Feel free to chat anytime you like. Thanks, guys. Is the course just run once a year? So the course is going to be run twice a year. So this will be the first, yep, thanks, Sean. So I'm going to be running, I think the next term may be around September, I'm going to say. We'll see, around that time. So there will be another one this year, but it will be just twice. Awesome. Cool, looks like that's about it. So I'll just say goodbye, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been awesome. And please go have a drink or some food. I've held you up for way too long. See you guys. Have a good one. Bye.